Did Bryan Boone accidentally cause Sarah Boone's very public meltdowns in her criminal case? Let's take a look at some renewed context that I have now that's making me question it. So, Bryan Boone filed the motion to modify in their divorce in 4/12/2022. This is not new information. This has been known for years that it was 4/12/2022. But I don't think I ever noticed the date of this document. He filed 4/18/2022. So less than a week after Bryan Boone filed that, and I would assume fresh off of Sarah Boone learning about it, this says the undersigned is forced to withdraw as irreconcilable differences have arisen between undersigned and the defendant that have made it impossible for undersigned to effectively represent his client. As always, it is difficult to convey all particulars to the court and at the same time maintain all duties to the client. So we don't know the exact reasons he's quit, but I do wonder if Sarah Boone was possibly demanding him do some actions in her civil case as well. And what's really interesting is just 2 days after this, we get the first Sarah Boone public letter, which is fascinating. We have, let's read this here, Honorable Judge Wooten, thank you foremost and in advance for your invaluable time and concern in this very unexpected and incredibly confusing matter. I am writing in regards to the requested withdrawal, most importantly of my attorney, Mauricio Padilla, and my team filed on 4/18/2022. Along with the continuance, forgive me, it's the wrong approach in contacting you directly, but I wanted you to be fully aware of the magnitude of my shock and disappointment in the betrayal of Mr. Padilla, as I have not in any way by anyone been provided any explanation for the aforementioned withdrawal, etc. I unfortunately had to learn of these documents by my former husband when calling to speak with my son. Now, I'm not certain that this is all connected, and that's something, did this. But as Sarah Boone says here, after making commitment to me as my attorney for over the past 2 years and 2 months ongoing. So 2 years and 2 months, this guy represents Sarah Boone. He knows about Boone. He's dealt with Boone. But a change we know that happened could be unrelated, but we know a change that happened was that filing. So did Sarah start making demands they wouldn't do? And then the letter itself here, the reason Sarah learned about it was because of Bryan. We might have Bryan completely accidentally to thank for the Sarah Boone letters, which is a wild thought. Also being made to believe we were a team, I am completely blindsided nonetheless in how this was and is being handled by a professional I do not understand. With that being said, Your Honor, I am graciously requesting to be included and present, please, at this hearing on Friday, April 29th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. so I'm able to learn more and also explain the ongoing legitimate hindrances I've been facing along with my inability to amply progress in the presentation for my upcoming trial and future. In my opinion, these concerns are what spurred these requests by my attorney in the first place. So again, I'm wondering if Sarah was trying to somehow mix the two cases and she wanted something done, and the attorney just said no. It is undoubtedly of the utmost importance to me to fight for my truth, in which I thought my attorney was doing also. Thank you beyond measure for your very much needed assistance and understanding. I am flying blind. I don't know the process, procedure, or protocol for any of this, since I have never been in the current situation as I am in. I am eager to meet with you to further explain any and all questions or concerns whomever may have. Please know with great emphasis I want to move forward, especially for the length of time already being incarcerated, and remedy this entire predicament, however that may be, in the best possible manner, having my best interest and security above all else. Again, I thank you profusely. I await your response with further direction in order to be attendance and proceed forward. Exceptionally grateful, Sarah Boone. So I could definitely end the video there because I think that really gets my point across. But this gives me an excuse to reread some of the Sarah Boone 2022 letters, and you can see a little bit of how she starts shifting over time. So this one here, this is October 7th, I believe is when it's e-filed, so it's a little bit earlier than that. And this will be her next attorney. Mr. Bankowitz, I am writing in regards to not hearing from you and am becoming very concerned over receiving no response to any of my daily calls or from the letters I've sent. As of today, October 3rd, you have been my court-appointed attorney for almost 3 months, 12 weeks, 84 days, and only spoke to me 3 times. 7/14/2022 video introduction, 8/2/2022 video update, 8/22/2022 visit in person 90 minutes. I have written 2 letters in the meantime, also my most recent I sent on 9/12/2022 with no response. I am unaware of the difficulties you are having in communicating with me, video, phone, letter in person, especially via phone, which to me is the simplest form of doing so, even if for just a brief update, which takes only minutes. I believe by you giving me your personal cell number, you are going to answer. I would at least know all is well and have a better understanding of the status of some things I want to plan on or what I may need to work on. With no communication makes my end even more difficult, drawn out, and painful. Please figure out whatever necessary for my phone calls to be answered, which you will be reimbursed for when you submit your costs. It feels at this rate of communication and meetings and you just coming on board, not having all my discovery to go over, still on top of everything else to be done, and depth. How much longer am I really going to be here added to the 32 months already? Especially if we communicate, however, you eventually only 1 time a month, if that, all for the month of September. I know nothing from not hearing from you. I understand you have other clients, as I am one also. You've been recuperating from your back, but remember, please, how long I've been here. You are my 6th attorney, not by choice. And again, that's a lot of attorneys. And the magnitude of my case with not knowing what's going on or where you are, how much harder it is for me. I want to get on with my life, Mr. Bankowitz, and not miss any more time necessary for my son. I've already missed 4 of his birthdays and spent 3 of my own in here. Please understand. Someone could probably tell me, Tanika's 2 cents mentioned this. One of her attorneys was helping on the civil case. Was it Bankowitz? Was this the one? I'm not entirely sure. Note 2, I am patient, clearly, after all this time already invested, and still smiling and willing to go above and beyond in whatever I need to do to properly and truthfully convey my very convoluted, misunderstood side of everything, which I boldly told you in our meeting last month. I am dedicated, ready to start overdue. I am so grateful, Mr. Bankowitz, for you, all you are doing, have done, and will do. We're in this together, and I'm so blessed. You are my attorney. God has put us in each other's paths for a reason. I can't wait to see what you and he will do. So God's in there now. I'm praying 6 times the charms. Please respond. I await your response. Thank you profusely, Sarah Boone. Now this one is 11/7 is the e-file date, and this one's to the judge. So this is going to be e-file difference of exactly a month. Forgive me in advance for having to utilize your invaluable time to ask the current progress of my case, but after not having any form of communication with my attorney, appointed by you now after 11 weeks and counting, after sending 4 letters to my attorney appointed by you and no response, and after finally finding an outside resource to inform me of the uneventful, confusing filed documents online by my attorney appointed by you, I am still waiting with the perpetual question mark over my head. No letters, no video visits, no face-to-face visits, no answered phone calls. You know, I gotta say, it's really funny. Sarah Boone complains, right, that, like, her son wasn't communicating with her and whatever, but even her own attorneys were, like, ghosting her because she's just insufferable, I guess, would be that's what we all expect, right? Your Honor, regarding one of my letters expressing my legitimate concern of what's going on in my case and where's my attorney. It has now been over 4 months since being appointed another attorney 6, and not by my decision, influence, or choice in almost 3. It's definitely by her influence. In almost 3 of the 4 months not hearing from said attorney, 8/22/2022 last correspondence. Why? What is the reason? Why haven't I received a letter, even a 15-minute video update, anything, even after my PTC on 10/25? Is what truly confuses me and nonetheless upsets me the fact that I was not in attendance, so I could not know what's going on in my case, especially considering I've not heard from my attorney in 11 weeks and should have been included. Why was I not? This is my case. Was Mr. Bankowitz even there to represent me? I don't know anything still. The problem is my constitutional rights are incorrectly being waived without my knowledge or permission. I've never signed anything nor verbalized the idea I wish to waive my appearances to any of my court dates. I want to be present for all my dates going forward, please. Regardless of the significance, all are significant to me since my attorneys fail to relay any information in anything. If he's not going to, then I must myself inform myself as always my entire life. What else can I do? Who else can I seek help from? I have you and God. Judge Wooten. The weird wording there. If I do have an attorney, where is he? There's so much to do all over my case. Hopefully the right way this time, off of a rocky start, where I wonder is more extended my time will I be on top of the almost soon to be 36 month, 3 years already. Is this how the justice system really works? Now, mind you, again, in context, we know Sarah Boone is now dealing with the fact that Bryan doesn't ever want to pay her, basically. Am I being penalized for wanting to be fully involved in everything? And also, I think Tanika's 2 cents probably has like messages and stuff from this time you could go back and look at if you want more context. And intelligent enough to know how my case is being handled is unjust from my point of view, disastrous considering I'm still here sitting in Orange County Jail, counting the days, praying my 6th attorney contacts me. We can move forward, finally coming to an end this seemingly endless debacle. You would think, considering the circus show. I love how she mentioned circus here, and then she drew what was basically a circus ad to get her final attorney. That's why it's fun to go back with this stuff. Like, just to reread it, just with a little more context, more thought put into it. You know, sometimes you notice something that just shines through a little bit. My entire case is being made out to be with all the hype, sensationalism, and publicity. I received a letter all the way from across the pond, England, the other day. And remember, she used people that contacted her because of this publicity in her sentencing to try to get a lighter sentence. It didn't work, but she tried it. It would have been handled more professional, better. I learn something new every day about the facts, events, and outcomes of my case from all the inmates and officers as well. I wonder if they might know where my attorney is. Bottom line is, please understand, I don't want to be here any longer. I don't want to be hindered any longer in getting just to the starting line again. I don't want to be suppressed and being finally, truthfully, correctly. So when Judge Wooten, when will I hear from my attorney? Or can please just with some type of response other than a copy of my letters I keep sending, which I already have. So she's confused. I think, if I'm remembering right, after these letters, she gets told they were received and then just forwarded. So I think they're sending that back as a response. It's making her mad. In the meantime, it's my understanding the following documents have filed in my case since the appointment of the Frank Bankowitz, my attorney, MIA. So we have Bankowitz appointed, PTC order, pretrial 10/25, trials 11/7, pretrial canceled, notice of unavailability state, correspondence, my letter to Bankowitz, correspondence to defendant, a copy of my letter, notice of appearance for what had 3 years ago, not guilty plea already filed, waiver of appearance never signed, agreed to, compensation for what's been done, substituting conflict counsel, who is my attorney, PTC 11/17/2023, and something else, 1/30/2023. That's it. In the almost 4 months we've been a client of Mr. Bankowitz is the only progress. What's next? Where are my copies of everything filed ever? God, she loves the word ever. This is one way I can have some idea of what's happening, and please remember, I have no access to a computer nor any reliable outside resources to check anything for me. Please mail copies. I'm trying to come up with any solution possible to keep me, the other party in my case, informed and updated. It's also a part of the court's responsibility. I would especially think, knowing I've not heard from my attorney in any way for 11 weeks, I want to be included. Really makes me wonder how it's going for her, attorney in the appeal. Like, is she trying to message them in some way? Are they in contact? Is she angry they aren't in contact? I would assume she's angry they aren't in contact. We would hear it, right? So maybe they are contacting her. As always, I thank you for your time and understanding. Please help however you are. I am not helpless. I'm ready to get this show on the road and to hear from someone other than myself asking the same question over and over. What's going on in my case? How many more pens will I exhaust asking? Which she complains about. If you read Tanika's stuff, she complains about not having the money for pens. Gratefully and patiently waiting your response. Sincerely, Sarah Boone. And then this is another one here. This is just a summary of the progress as she puts here. So he was appointed July 11th. Last spoke, pretrial conference, last letter, total hours represented, and total hours with clients. And again, where's my attorney? This is in December of 2022. I'm going to stop here. I just give some context what happened after Bryan's filing. Where's my attorney? Where are you, Judge Wooten? Which is really funny because she didn't even just lose her attorney. She lost the judge, too. That is talent when you go through, 8 lawyers and a judge? I understand the holiday mode everyone is in as we inmates sit and wait for it to pass, but before we come to the end of yet another year, almost 3 for me, in OCCD, it would be respectful of the court to please advise the status and location of my attorney foremost, and also provide any real progress of my case, which is difficult to do and further without an attorney. Nonetheless, after being appointed so many, I thought hopefully the level of dysfunction would be lessened. Unfortunately, to date, I am sadly mistaken and feel I've been severely misled. Even more unfortunate seems to be the lack of representation from any party of my case, other than myself. Look at the numbers. In the meantime, and in preparation for the upcoming status hearing on 12/20 at 10:45 a.m., which I just received notice for, thank you for the inclusion, I am in the process of writing to our governor. I forgot she tried to write the governor. Regarding the mismanagement of my case and the multiple added obstacles and deterrents I'm experiencing, trying to avoid any further time-consuming hindrances. Some of the major legitimate concerns of mine are the violations of my constitutional rights, the degree of neglect and nonchalant approach of everyone in my case to substantially progress the illegal, non-permissive release and distribution by the Orange County Sheriff's Department, my crucial, confidential case files, videos, photographs, documents, etc. and pertinent to my case, which I have not even seen or know about. Everyone knows more than I do about my case. The result is impossible to choose a jury that will be impartial. So yeah, she was already complaining back in 2022 about this. She really thought that the public shouldn't be allowed to see the body cam footage or the interrogations and all that, which, I mean, you live in Florida. Florida man is a meme because Florida releases everything like this. Like, that's what Florida does, right? So if you don't like it, don't commit a crime in Florida. And the uninfluenced by all the mutated, exaggerated hype sensationalism, this is being a significant reason to request a change of venue. Previously, at this point, it will make no difference. There's nowhere I am not known. The premature, unfair judgment by everyone is wrongfully and inappropriately made. I haven't seen my discovery nor know where my attorney is. It's my 6th attorney. Not only am I the other party in my case, still in the dark with everything, I am blind in the dark. This is wrong, unfair, especially for a still proud citizen of the United States of America. And unacceptable. I was actually going to grab a America hat, but it must have fallen off my desk. There is more to everything, much more, and in which I've been patient to extreme to explain, interpret, educate what now seems to be the whole world. I am hopeful the governor will be able to untangle the chaos and mistreatment. No one else seems to be available or willing to abide by the protocol of our justice system and rightfully eagerly apply themselves. I'm hoping still these aforementioned topics to be further discussed at the hearing on the 20th, in which I am bringing to everyone's attention prior. I have not heard from my court-appointed attorney to date, so I am unaware what else may be on the docket. It's time to finally move forward in all the right ways. Happy holidays, Sarah Boone. I mean, she literally complained about Bryan. Like, she mentions Bryan here, telling her about her lawyer quitting. Which, if she's talking to Bryan, she had to be fully aware of the fact that he filed for the modification, right? I would assume. So let me know what you think. Do you think that Sarah was pressuring her attorneys not only on her criminal case, but her marriage agreement. Because I fully would expect her to think they should have to work on both. Because remember, she was very petty with Bryan. She was very petty with him. Even into the trial, they acted like they were going to call him as a witness and then never did. I assume just because Sarah didn't want him in the courtroom. So, like, because he'd be a possible witness, so I believe he'd be sequestered. So they brought him in, the prosecution did. And then they took, so I believe because of that, he would have been sequestered. He wouldn't get to see the actual case until after it ended, right? So, like, she was petty all the way to the end. And hopefully this gives you a little look back. Maybe, I'm just curious if you think I'm right. Like, was that the tipping point for Sarah? Did Sarah go too far for her attorneys at that point? Is this the part that broke that? We'll never know, right? We'll never know unless Sarah puts it in a letter. Because her attorneys can't tell us, obviously, legally. But just, I like to review, get myself back in and try to remember some things. I forget things. It's been a while since I've looked at this. A long time since I've looked at these documents. And the dates lined up really well. Almost too well.